Yeah, here's the continuation of the other video of mom. I was talking about her, and you see, mom, my mother, her name is Betty Lou Boato, right? I remember the Filipinos, right? I remember I was visiting in Lamont, because I went back, I moved out, I went to college, just head out to school, and I moved to Pomona, over there by Hollywood, right? And so I went to visit, you know, my mom, when she was alive in Lamont or Bakersfield. So I went to Lamont, to stop there to put gas, and this one Filipino lady, she was, hey, are you Filipino? Well, yeah, through my grandfather's side, right? And so he goes, so what's his name? He's asking, I go, Boato. She goes, no, 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 no. That's not no. She goes, Boato. You see, the pronunciation in the Filipino language, you gotta be careful. Gotta say it right, man. This lady was on my toes. Like, you know what? She even knew how to say my name correctly, you know? I did it, man. It just, well, that's how mom and them always said it. I told my mom, right? But mom, you know what? Guess what? Today, man, I got chewed out by a lady, a Filipino lady, because I said Boato wrong. She goes, how you supposed to say it? I said Boato. I guess the ah, it's emphasized, right? Boato, right? Now Boato is Boato. And that's true. That's why they had the mark on top, of the A, ah. It's not wa. It's not wato, you know. Anyways, yeah, they're very strict culture, about the names, So if you talk to them, make sure that you say their names right. You're gonna get. And it's only obvious, right? It's only true. Nobody wants their name to be, said, certain way. But no, mom, she was a very, very loving person, And I remember, whenever, oh man, she would back me up, And see this video here, what I want to make it into, everybody, every human has a mom and dad, those that had the privilege of having their mom and dad. And I apologize for those that didn't. I'm sorry, and that. But I'm sure the person that took care of you, you really see them as your biological parents as well, right? That. And so this is like handing back to my mom, her legacy, what she tried to give, back. My mom, she divorced my dad after I was 10. Right? It just didn't work out. Father, he wanted to move on, and so they did, right? Then she went in and married this other person in Maryland, Salisbury. It didn't work out after, 30 years, I think, So I'm not going to go into all the details, but she gave a person a chance, second time in life, he didn't deserve it, But I just say that domestic violence is bad. It just, it's where a person, doesn't see clearly. But mom, she was that way, In fact, they fired her from her job because she moved over there to Maryland. And you know what? They fired her from her work. They didn't let her work in the field she was in, Why? Some things happen, When, you're a social worker, you work for the state. Your family has to live, a honest life. You can't do things that violate the laws, So mom had to live that kind of life, without her career, and it was sad, that. And she went through a lot. And anyways, mom had a stroke at the end of her life. She came back here to California, and she stayed with my sister. My sister took care of her, And my sister, you know what? Oh my God. I'm sad to say, but nobody gave credit to my sister, Stacy. And I want to say, Stacy, we really love you for that. And I apologize if I, did things or said things that were wrong. And it's just, being in college and then being, it's just, things were just, real piled up, right? That's why I got into a spiritual life, to have more of a spiritual life, to handle our problems, with what we go through in life, And so I did that, and then, but mom, with her stroke, right? Mom, she wasn't the same person no more. And I would say this vid is for, the parents, that really, man, help their kids out in life as much as they can, right? And what you could do for them now is this, mom tried, right? And I remember she told me she didn't want to live no more. She wanted to commit suicide. She did, So I didn't tell my brother or sister, but what she meant was that, and she didn't say out directly, look, I want to commit suicide. That's not it. But the way she was thinking, and referring it, and me being, going through psychology school, I finished psychology and all that, got my degrees and all that, and I just needed a term, and I would have been a psychiatrist, analyzing that through the DSM book and my experiences doing the internship and clinical work, all that. My mom, you know what? She was, thinking suicidal, She didn't want to, right? She did not want to, survive no more. And it was because of that stroke, that she had. The stroke, took my mom's left side. She was numbed up. She had her cheek drawn, dragging down, and then her eye dragged down, and she couldn't move her side, that much. She couldn't see on the side of her peripheral vision, and then she couldn't drive a car no more, but was exercising and everything, right? She was all right. The shape, she had exercise on her face, and then she had some therapy, the kind she chose to have, at home, that's the therapy she had, Mom, she was a very introvert person. She was her way or no way. I was trying to vacuum her room, right? She was telling me how to vacuum her room. Oh man. And I just said, man, I just let her, right? I didn't argue with her, And so after that, I said, you know what? I could help my mom. And what I did was that I noticed she went to a church, and her church where she went, they did a lot of homework stuff that you could do at home. They had a ministry school, and they gave them a assignment to do, a speaking assignment every person would have, each week. And so she was able to take the assignments home, and then they would participate in an open and closed questionnaire, a magazine, right, on Sundays. And so it helped my mom use her left side of the brain system, right? And so she would answer the questions by writing, the question down, And then what I did was through software, I developed my mom some programs, for her to use, to develop on the left side of her brain system, right? To keep it going, that. And to keep her mind away from thinking about suicide and not doing nothing every day. Because she would sit at home and not do nothing. That my sister had everything for her to learn and do everything, right? That I was teaching her, right? My sister had all that, And my sister, she worked, more than 12 hours a day. Stacy helped her out, and her daughter Felicia and her husband Victor, very nice guy. Oh my God, he's like, I would say that if you was to find the nicest person in the world, he would be inside man the record book, Genesis World of the Record. Victor, he's that nice. He took care of my mom. Really sweet guy. Stacy had everything, did everything for her and everything, right? And You see, so with Stacy's help, her family's help, then my help, and my brother Frank, he helped as well. He would do his part. So us helping around, and with the schedule from the church, what she would do, read this magazine article, and it was like a discussion where they would make comments on a microphone, each person, member of the congregation, and that helped her out, on Sundays, that helped her out, keep her left side of the brain going, and she had something to do, right? And then at that time, she got into pioneering, they called it. It's where they put in 50 hours a month, She would do that by, writing letters. I went over to her house and I helped her to learn how to write letters, right? I would pick her up out on service, take her out in my car, and we used to go give out magazines, on bus stops and everything, right? Then after that, we stopped at cemeteries, I used to come down from LA all the way down only to take her out like that, to get her used to a schedule like that. And from all that, with my help like that, and then with my sister's help and all her family and Frankie, then, she was doing great. She really did really good, over what, from her stroke, she lived, she had it in 96, I think, all the way to 2022 or 3, I think she died. Yeah, she lived, 20-some years, Yeah, she lived 20-some years after the stroke, that? And she really tried hard. Because people that have strokes like that, it's really complicated. It's really complicated for them, right? It's hard for them, very hard, that. Depends on the stroke that they had, right? And so my mom would try so hard to communicate, and whenever she couldn't communicate, that, and I could tell she used to stop and, try to think where she left it. So what I did was, I talked to my sister and she goes, well, have her make notes, stuff like that, on tabs, paper notes, and then so I would help my mom like that, I remember I moved down here from Pomona to go to Bakersfield College. That way I could help her out, help my sister out. And then so my mom would make all these notes, right? In fact, she would make so many notes that I used to, I would sit down on the chair, right, recliner, and she goes, "Hold on, son, wait a minute," because I was gonna go out already, go home, And after she goes, "Hold on, son, what you got? My notes on your, you're behind right there. It's sticky notes. We were out." She had that many everywhere, right? Over here on the chair, right? She had them over here on the wall, and they used to fall down, And then until now, this new technology came out, right? The software that we got, iPads and, iPhones start coming out, being better and everything, Android phones, right? And that was in the 2000s, right? That's when all the technology was being developed. Until then, she started to learn how to put everything in the tablet, And so I would say, if you have a family member that really took care of you, helped you out, then now there's some, they're older now, they're not able to keep up with things, for you. Don't treat them real bad or don't do that. Give them a respect, find the best. And don't throw them to a nursing home, and give up yet. Don't do that, Because believe me, even my sister told me about all that, And then, try and help them out as much as you can. And it's a blessing, to see your fam, do good and everything. And as much as you can, stay together, try to keep it together. Well, this is almost going to be 15 minutes here. I'm going to stop it here, okay? And it was an honor talking to you guys about my mom. If you have any questions, just put them down there in the comments, press the like, subscribe, and It's what keeps the channel going, okay? You guys take care, and we'll speak to you soon, all right?